What's up, everybody? It's your boy Flash from ALWT Gaming, At Least We Try Gaming, aka Malachi 36. I am here with It's the Nine Ball on my right, your guys' left. What's up? It's the Nine Ball. How are you doing?
I'm great. Just found out my cords are tangled, but I'm doing good.
Heard that. Heard that. I do want to ask you, before we move on over to our other co-host up in this piece, what games have you been playing? I know we talked a little bit off stream about one of the games that was on your backlist for a bit, but you came back to it. So let's talk about that for a minute. What game are you currently playing right now?
Fatal Frame. Made it up to Black Water, I believe. Yeah, made it up to Black Water.
I don't even know what that means, but I'm happy for you.
It's basically you kind of get chased. You ever seen like The Ring?
Okay, so you said enough. I had about that scary stuff, but yeah, no, The Ring. You said The Ring. All right, keep going.
Yeah, it's basically like a normal Fatal Frame. You take pictures, like ghosts that come out. You gotta get not really pictures of them, but you take pictures from a camera obscura to exercise them, to get rid of them. It is supposed to be a horror game. It does have some horror, like I said, the one chick looks like she's from the Maiden of the Water. Looks kind of like the chick from The Ring, but she has like red eyes, and sometimes she'll just chase you around.
So jump scares?
Not really some jump scares, but not a lot. I wouldn't say it's as scary as, let's say, I would say Fatal Frame 2 was. Like, they had the two twins, and then they had that Siako chick running around with that knife because she had, like, slit everybody's throats and was just wandering. It does do a lot with disturbing imagery, like suicides, stuff like that.
Psychologicals. Got it.
Yeah, more ghost possessions and stuff.
Speaking of ghost possessions, I know that's what Mildewy Carrot has been playing lately, but don't let me tell you. Let him tell you. How are you doing today, Mildewy Carrot?
Doing good. Yeah, we've been, Nine Ball, Gravity, and Hey It's Abs. We've been playing Phasmophobia a lot recently, so having a lot of fun on that. Just hunting down ghosts, trying to find them, get them, and doing stupid shit while doing it. Yeah. So
betraying your allies.
Not betraying, more or less just, messing with them and giving them some scares,
Yeah.
We do it to everyone, but we do it in a sense of it's when we know it's safe, not when you're going to get hunted.
I don't know. Last time, I don't know.
I don't do it when you can have a chance of getting hunted.
I know. No. That's about the last time. Like, we went in there and
he
started calling his name out, was egging on the ghost, like, hey, we're just still setting up here. It actually came out too and killed me. Yep. Died on the steps running out in the basement.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah. I was running, Nine Ball was running. I'm like, I'm trying to get into a door. The next thing I just hear Nine Ball go, I'm dead. I'm like, the heck what is this ghost? Like, this thing triggered quickly. But yeah, no, we're just having fun with it, just playing around. I've also been playing some more Planet Crafter demo. Waiting for that game to come out here, and it's supposed to come out. They're going to do Q4, I think, 2022. So it's a real fun game, very relaxing, just terraforming a planet and all. So having fun with that again, and also then trying to get back into Die Young. So because it's kind of like a Tomb Raider-ish style game, but you're just trying to survive a cult and using parkour and movements. So not a lot of attacking the enemies and all, more just like trying to get away and sneak around and get past them and all, and just trying to survive. So,
okay,
yeah.
I have been mainly on an anime hype as of lately. I am inside Stormblood for Final Fantasy 14, which we're going to be talking a little bit about that later on today because that's part of our stories for the week. But I've been watching, like last week, I had a half day off work and I didn't come back until yesterday. So I just used a lot of that time to watch the anime. I went ahead on the anime spectrum. I started and completed Rent a Girlfriend, which is really good. I restarted and completed Standing on a Million Lives. That was one that I started a long time ago, then put it down just because I just wasn't into it. And then I came back to it after me and Mildew were talking about it. It's like, oh, this game, this anime looks interesting. I was like, yeah, I started it, but I don't know how I feel about it. Tried to get back into it, couldn't get into it. And I was just like, you know what, fresh start. Let me go ahead and start from the beginning. And I went from beginning all the way to the end, pretty much in one sitting. And it was it was a good anime. It was definitely one that I had to get into. Like I had to literally give it time to breathe and everything like that for it to grab me. But it did. He eventually grabbed me, and there's a few heart-wrenching moments in there that I was like, oh, that's some good stuff. That's some good writing right there. Another one was Ari Ferretta, which was recommended by TBF Abyss. That was another one that I started and stopped, and just couldn't get into. Same thing last week. It was just like, let me start fresh from very beginning all the way to the end. That one is one that I'm interested in. There's one part that's cringeworthy, and I'm pretty sure that TBF Abyss knows exactly what I'm talking about.
If it's the part I think, and then I know what you're talking about. I've seen it all the way through.
All I will say
as well.
All I will say is Dragon.
Yep. I know.
That's all I gotta
you
say.
You kidding me?
Yep.
That part's fucking hilarious. Pardon my French.
It was funny, but it was something that was
so far out left field that you just did not expect it to come out, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was not expecting that at all. And the only thing I would say for any of our viewers that's watching live right now or listening later on YouTube or Anchor or Spotify, is just think Dragon and Darkness from Konosuba. That's all I'm going to say. Dragon, Darkness from Konosuba, and that's it.
If you know what we're talking about, unfortunately, you do. If you don't, then congratulations, you spared yourself.
Yeah.
But again, speaking of our Florida, they are coming out with the second season
next year. Yeah. And that's actually one of the reasons what amped me to watch it was because I knew that there's another season. I was like, all right, well, obviously it's good enough to get another season. Let me see what this is about. And I powered it all the way through, and I do like some of the relationships that they have in there. And I liked how they develop the main character, and everything like that, which is cool. I'm watching right now Date Alive. That one is one that I'm getting through. I finished season 1 actually today.
It's on my list
today. Yeah, it's interesting, and they have some good characters. A Comic Kill is another one that I finished recently. Really good one. It's an old one, but it's definitely a really good one.
Oh man,
which one?
It's a Comic Kill. Yeah,
it's on Netflix. Man.
Okay, I remember.
That one is dark though.
It is, but it's definitely well written, and there's some stuff that unexpectedly happens.
I'm not arguing against that. It is very well written. I'm just saying, holy crap! It's just like, damn.
Yeah.
The endings especially were just like, dude.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they had some good moments in that one for sure, and it's. Yeah, needless to say, I've just been on the anime hype. There's actually even been a couple more animes I've been watching and keeping up with and everything like that. But I've been utilizing a lot of my time for that. But again, like I said before, video game wise, I've been getting inside Endwalker, or trying to get closer to Endwalker. I have it pre-ordered, and I'm probably going to try to play that a little bit more this weekend. Let's see how much luck I have though, because of what the story is going to contain for that. What we are going to do though is that we are first going to continue on with the VGA nominees, what we think is going to win, who we think is going to come out with the dub, all that good stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to go straight on over here to the best mobile game. This is one of the nominations right here, and it is Fantasian, that's by Miss Walker, Genshin Impact, League of Legends Wild Rift, Marvel Future Revolution, or Pokemon Unite. Which of those games do we think is going to win best mobile game?
Could you say the list?
Yeah.
Say the list again.
Fantasian, Genshin Impact, League of Legends Wild Rift, Marvel Future Revolution, or Pokemon Unite. Who's taking the dub?
I'll go first.
All right.
Even though I am not really decided, I'm going to just stick with my gun. I'm going to say League of Legends Wild Rift.
You think so?
I'm thinking so. It was kind of easy, and then you had to throw the Pokemon in there. I was going to say Pokemon, but I decided to stick with it. Wild Rift, I think is going to be. It looks pretty good. It seems pretty comprehensive and easy to play. I'm not sure about the other ones though. I played a bit of Genshin Impact, like we played, but I didn't play it mobile, so I have no idea how that plays on mobile.
Mm-hmm.
And the other ones I don't really know nothing about. So I'm going with that one plus two. The success of Arcane really has been putting League of Legends more on the map, which, by the way, was a spectacular one. I finished that one up like as soon as they was launching. I was finishing them up.
Yeah, I still gotta watch that.
Same here. I will say, throwing a caveat out there, the Marvel Future Revolution, that was the one where your Spider-Man can be different than my Spider-Man, but both of our Spider-Mans can be different than Mildewy Carrot Spider-Man.
Like, you heard that, Mildewy? My Spider-Man's not the same as yours.
But it is the one that
I'm not even using Spider-Man.
It is the one that you do take these model characters.
I'm using
and their
Spider-Girl.
you can do that. You can do that. So it's
I'm
just
using Gwen.
Yeah,
Forget
Peter.
You
can do that. It's just like literally taking these model characters of Spider-Man and these alternate universes, and you're creating your own Spider-Man or Captain America or Miss Marvel or Mr. Marvel or whatever. So it's literally just that's kind of how that Marvel Future Revolution is, in case you're wondering. Mildewy Carrot, what's your thoughts about this category?
I don't do much mobile gaming, same as like I don't do much really anything with it, just because it kind of turned me off when I was younger. Like I just ran into too many games that were micro dependent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it really turned me off. But I just from looking at this roster here, I'm gonna have to probably give it to Genshin Impact. The reason why I'm saying that is because even on PC or PlayStation, sorry, when we were playing it, it looked like it had the graphic capability to be able to stand on any type of mobile device that's running it up to a certain amount. You know, you can't run anything older, but pretty much most smartphones I think could run it and still have very good quality with it. Not only that, but the game mechanics seemed very simplistic to it. And it's got a really good story that you could easily go through, it seems like, without having to do any like type of microtransactions. I don't know anything about Fantasian, but Pokemon Unite, Marvel Future, Pokemon Unite's pretty much like a MOBA, League of Legends style. Marvel Future Revolution, I believe, is a fighting game, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's very similar to like Ultimate Alliance in a way.
Yeah, and then League of Legends Wild Rift, that one seemed like more like a turn-based chess style strategy. Tell me if I'm wrong, Nineball. I haven't looked into
it is a MOBA.
So long.
It's just a portable version of League of Legends.
Okay.
Yeah, they got it to finally work.
So with that being said, like, so it is a MOBA and all. They had another one that looked like it. It might have been a different game that I was thinking of. But yeah, I feel like Genshin Impact, just because it's got the capability of multiplayer aspect of going in and playing with your friends. It's got the capability of being single player, and you still having a lot of fun with the story in the world. And it's a big world, as we saw on the map when we were playing on PlayStation. So, I mean, yes, the Wild Rifts, Pokemon Unite, and Future Revolution might have some, like, replayability capabilities, but I find, just me personally, that those can get very tedious. But a very good story and multiplayer capability with dungeon crawling aspects that are available in this game, I feel like Genshin Impact probably is taking this one to start with, just because it offers so much more to the consumer playing on a mobile device versus just like, all right, choose your champion, get in lane, grab your stuff, now try not to screw your team over and go for gold league status stuff. It's like, yeah, no. So yeah, I'm going Genshin Impact, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. So what this list did, all right, so for me, I'm actually split right between you guys. I think if you're talking about strictly just mobile, I think League of Legends has it, but I don't think that the vast majority of the people are going to think just mobile. Like, yes, it's best mobile game, but they're going to look at this list and be like, oh, Genshin Impact, yeah, that is a mobile game. Let's go and choose that, even though that they might be playing on PlayStation. That's kind of where my mind is at. So I think that if we talk about an overall setting, even though it's for a best mobile game, I think Genshin Impact is going to win that one. But if everyone sits down and is strictly thinking, okay, we're talking about just mobile, disregarding any other platforms it could be on, just mobile, I think League of Legends takes it. Pokemon Unite is a great introduction to MOBAs for anyone that wants to learn how to do MOBAs. So I definitely think that it deserves its dues here. I haven't really heard too much about Marvel Future Revolution. I know that at first it had a lot of promise to it. A lot of people were very excited about it. And then when people were playing it, they were like, oh, this is not exactly, it's still fun, but not exactly what I thought it was going to be. League of Legends Wild Rift, obviously, like I said, a mobile version of League of Legends, and then Genshin Impact we played at the 9 to 5, which I have a new appreciation for that as well now for me. Thank you, local Effie. But I will say, looking at this list, I am curious to see what Fanastasian
Actually,
is.
while you're talking, I pulled up a trailer. It does look pretty interesting. It kind of looks like
it looks like a Nier game to me.
You kind of like, well, I mean, the character looks like Nier, but
Yeah.
it's what it is it's very it's turn-based RPG strategy, it seems like, and it looks like they've got like a world in it, but it looks like this world was something that they, like, the characters running around, and it looks like something that they made actually on like actual, like, took like in like live stuff and made like a model of the town or something that they're using. So they use like real life models for the backgrounds that the characters are running on.
Interesting.
So that looks pretty cool. I mean, that looks interesting. I don't know much about the story, but it's turn based. So I like turn based strategy RPGs because that's how I grew up with my childhood. You know, Xenosaga is one of the biggest marks I can put on that.
I
Is
always wanted to
turn
play one. I've never gotten a chance to play one of those.
dude, I got all three of them. I got all three of them for
Xenosaga,
my PS2. Like, I got all 3 games. I made sure I got them.
Yeah, my PS2 died before I had a chance to play it.
You can probably just get an emulator for your PC.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it looks really good. I mean, just from what I'm seeing here, but I still, because I haven't played it, I don't know the story, how the mechanics or anything techniques work. I'm gonna give it to Genshin Impact, but this kind of looks like it actually has a running up for second place if taking it, just from what I'm just seeing here.
Cool.
So I may have to check that one out just because, and see if, I don't know if it's only on mobile or if it's on PC as well, but that's interesting.
The second one category we're going to talk about is Best Community Support. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, No Man's Sky. Best Community Support.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it's up there.
This is Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite.
What?
Yeah. Best Community Support.
God.
You were tickled by that, bro.
What community support?
my nephews were over the other day just playing it. Dude, there's no community support for that game.
There's no community.
Well, hold on. Let's read what their thing is. So, recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates / patches.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a little bit more context to what this award is for. So I don't think it's just strictly community support, but it also is responsiveness, which for the whole Travis Scott thing, they're really quick about that. They responded very quickly to that. The social media activity, they are big on that, and then big game updates and patches, they're big on that too as well.
Okay.
I want to start.
Let me know how they get Fortnite. Let me.
Yeah. I want to start this one, and for me, like, I mean, you guys can call me a fanboy, but it's Final Fantasy 14 for me. There's not a whole lot of games that's out there that's an MMORPG that I feel okay playing by myself. Not because, like, it's a big open world. I would like to experience with my friends, yes, but also I've been in so many different games previously in the past to where I would go inside of a dungeon or go inside of a raid and the community is just toxic. Like, they're like, don't you know what you're doing, XYZ? No, I don't think I came across that in Final Fantasy 14 once.
And wow, I got kicked out of 2 dungeons before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could get voted out in.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, you can get voted out in World of Warcraft, which has happened to me. I got kicked out of a dungeon on World of Warcraft. I got toxic. I got kicked out of a raid. Not raid, but a alliance, a hero group.
Ooh, I almost got kicked out of a
DC
raid.
Universe.
Not
Not to mention Call of Duty and friggin' League of Legends and stuff like that. Like, it's just toxic a lot online, just in general. It's always a dangerous place to go to when you're talking about community support. I played Final Fantasy 14 for, I think they said 635 days, and I have yet to actually come across anybody that was toxic to me. So, for me, my personal answer is Final Fantasy 14, and I hope that's going to be the corporate answer once this category comes to light. Mildew Carrot.
I actually went with Final Fantasy 14 too. It was between that or Destiny 2. I've got friends who play Destiny 2, and they're okay with it. But the problem with Destiny 2, though, is you still get some people in there who can be kind of really toxic or just try and, like, not even play with others, but just try and cheat the system to get the stuff that they want.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it just seems like it was a bit better than most of the other ones, but I'm gonna have to give it to 14 because I haven't heard anything bad. And, like, I've heard the horror stories from World of Warcraft that you guys heard a little bit of here, and, like, some other games and MMOs where you just get those toxic clans or groups or factions or whatever.
Yeah,
I did
Mythic Raid.
If you don't have right, like, if you don't have the exact equipment they want or expecting for, they will just rage quit on you like no one else's business. It's toxic. So, just from what I've heard in terms of stuff, like, I haven't heard anything really from Final Fantasy, so I'm gonna give it to them because if no news is good news.
There you go.
Ooh, it's
the 9-ball corner pocket. Line up your shot.
All right. This one was a tough one, and it wasn't because of Fortnite. So let me just let you know there.
I'm sorry, that shouldn't make me laugh so much, but it does.
It does. Like I said, I was just watching them just play the other day, and my nephew was sitting up there playing, cursing, yelling at some kid. I thought he was playing with his sister. I'm like, why are you talking to your sister like that? And then Tierra came down. I said, I thought you was playing with him. No, who's he talking to?
Some random person.
They was going off and he's like, you're trash. Nah, you trash. You call me trash.
Your mom's trash. I don't know what the trash talking is like nowadays, but back in my day.
But I'm going to go with the clan on this one on 14. It was between that and No Man's Sky. They have been very open and transparent with their latest updates, including the whole debacle, but theirs was more of they shot for the moon type of deal. Because it was only like, when I watched that, I was just watching that video on that, the gamers video on that whole thing. It was only 12 people that developed that game initially.
They shot for the moon, and the moon wasn't even in orbit.
It was like a passion project for him. He had been wanting to do this for years, and he had all this stuff in mind. But, having it in mind and putting it on paper is two totally different things. And getting it through the game is a totally another thing. Like you said, though, with 14, I have not really ran into bad people. I could say the same thing for WoW. I've ran into toxic people in WoW, but I've ran into some pretty nice people. I was doing one time a very bad job on healing, and the dude was like, it's okay. You're playing this. I understand you're having problems with this. So he was going through with it. That's how I got into healing, actually. A dude actually, our healer kind of just, it was toxic and good. Our healer just kind of dipped out on us. And I was playing a priest. I was a shadow priest. And they was like, can you play healer priest? I was like, I'll try holy priest. I was like, okay. Just try to focus on healing me because I'm going to be the main tank and I'm just going to go on in there. And let me know if it gets too much. So that's how I got into healing. But with this list, I'm sticking with 14. I've not really had problems. There's been a lot of nice people on 14. I think I've ran into only one douchebag, and he was mad at my name. Like, you shouldn't be a healer and have the name tanking abuse. So outside of him, it's been nothing but a bunch of nice people.
That's not even a legit reason. It's just
Yeah, it's just it's people. They people over it have been extremely transparent. When they make mistakes, they let you know. If they have problems, they let you know. They've showed off the new groups of people. Which, since we're going to be talking about that, I'm going to go into some of this stuff later because it's going to be an article about that later on.
Yeah.
But just for now, I'm going to go with 14.
Cool. It's a sweep here at ALWT Gaming when you're talking about best community support. Let's see if that same sweep is going to continue on for the innovation and accessibility.
Yeah, for tanking abuse.
So the games that we have listed here is Far Cry 6, Forza Horizon 5, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and The Veil, Shadow of the Crown. Mildewy Carrot, kick us off.
I have no clue about any of these. Well, besides, I know about Ratchet. I know about Marvel's, the Horizon, Far Cry. I don't know about Veil, Shadow of the Crown. That one is a new one to me. But if I had to go with like accessibility of getting it to people, adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by everyone in a wider audience, it kind of makes me feel like Forza, because you get those. I remember back to my old N64 where they made the steering wheel controller for it. For if you can't play the controller, they got the steering wheel, the pedals, and all, and they've got a lot of these rigs. Like if you go online and Google the stuff that they make for these games to kind of like just let people play it in a wider variety and different aspects of it, like there's a lot built and done for these racing games. So I know a lot of these games are all across multiple platforms. They've got the capabilities of getting like different controllers probably, but I just think in terms of like the most like accessibility in terms of like getting multiple different people to play it and like what's been made for them, I feel like the racing genre's got way more made for it. So I'm going to go with Forza Horizon.
That's actually my pick too as well, Forza Horizon. Not only because of what you just mentioned with the steering wheel and everything like that, but they did go ahead and actually bring on a feature to where if there's like a cutscene or any talking, they actually bring a person on screen that will sign language if you're deaf. So they'll actually,
nice.
Yeah. So they kind of.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, they actually kind of, that's a new accessibility that they enforced inside this particular game. So it's just like they've done a lot of. Far Cry 6 is right, but is a really close second because I know that they've done a lot of capabilities that's very similar to The Last of Us Part 2.
Excuse me.
Which that got accessibility award from last year, I believe. But this, I think that when you look at the whole full spectrum of everything, I think that Forza Horizon 5 does bring in a new level of accessibility. So that way, not only can you utilize your different peripherals to play the game, if you can't use a controller, you can use a steering wheel and pedals. I know that there's again text to speech and all these different types of ways to be able to play, but them actually including sign language is definitely something that's really cool to me as well. So, yeah, 9-ball.
Okay. Okay. It's pushing medium right and taking on to help games be played and enjoyed by even more. Okay, what you said about Forza kind of puts me over there. I was looking up Shadow of the Veil to try to figure out what this even is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
Yeah. Currently on the hunt here. Medieval fantasy narrative. Audio-based adventures. I kind of want to give it. I'll probably put this on my wish list. The only other one I was thinking of, which I kind of messed up on, was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Because it is with the way they're using all the stuff on the PlayStation and stuff. They've really helped it to help advance the system, showing what they can do and making it more enjoyable. But I'm gonna have to go with Forza Horizon. What am I saying? Forza Horizon.
Horizon's next year.
Yeah, I'm just putting them together. I just called it Horizon.
It's the racing game for Horizon.
Horizon.
You race the mecha animals. Like,
there you go.
whichever one you catch, then you raced.
But yeah, I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna go with y'all on that one because what you said about the deaf and stuff, yeah, that makes a big difference.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Going on over to best VR/AR, we have Hitman 3, I Expect You to Die 2, Lone Echo 2, Resident Evil 4, and Sniper Elite VR 9-ball.
You know what I'm gonna go with.
I know what you're gonna go with.
You know what I'm gonna go with.
I know what you're gonna go with.
Resident Evil 4.
Oh, it's not Lone Echo?
I was just Hitman 3.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4. Care to explain why?
It's Resident Evil 4. Do I really have to explain? Okay, fine. We'll explain this. Why I don't have a VR AR system, I thought Resident Evil would be the perfect one to go like that. From what I've heard, it's excellent. It's really good. The controls are real responsive. I'm not sure about the other one. I don't know about I Expect You to Die. Hitman, for me, would probably be the next one I would go with. Hitman 3. But I'm going to go with Resident Evil 4. Because it's me. And you know I like Resident Evil.
That's fair. Mil, do we care?
I'm actually gonna go I Expect You to Die 2.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah. I was looking into these games because this is actually one category I was kind of curious about when I was browsing originally when we started. And I didn't, like, I only know, like, Resident Evil. And, like, I know about Sniper Elite and Hitman. I know about the games themselves, but I didn't know about Lone Echo or I Expect You to Die. Don't get me wrong, they all look really good. But just the Expect You to Die just has this comedic aspect almost of, like, you're trying to do, like, a hit on people and trying to get people killed and all, like, and like trying to do like the way that you like it's very you have to do like a lot of movements with your hands, it feels like, from what it looks like. So in terms of like getting things, it's hilarious. Just from the trailers I watched, I'm like, all right, this is good. Like, this just looks really good, like with what you have to do with your hands in terms of reacting to the environment and, you know, doing stuff with it. It feels like this game was built mainly with a VR in mind, not trying to translate something over to a VR aspect in a way, you know. So I'm gonna give it to I Expect You to Die 2.
I think we are gonna have three different answers here because mine is Hitman 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that
Three-way split we do have.
Yeah. So we got Resident Evil 4. Now, for the record, if I were to have a VR system in my house, Sniper Elite VR, Resident Evil. I don't know about Resident Evil 4, but Sniper Elite VR and Hitman 3 would definitely be must buys for me. If I
Why don't you want Resident Evil 4?
I thought I was about to say Resident Evil 4.
Like
I get
horror
it,
games.
Yeah, but I thought about it. I was like, that's a little I'm out of that.
Come, try it.
Nah, we'll try Hitman 3 on VR, and I think that would be a really fun to really go through as Agent 37. And just really, just R47, my bad, and just be able to go in there and just
37 was his cousin.
Can't even get Malachi to play freaking Phasmophobia. He ain't playing no Resident Evil.
Facts.
Yeah, he'll join us for one. Now you're gonna join us for Phasmophobia.
Well, what I will join you guys in is best action game, which is on the list. We have Back for Blood, Chivalry 2, Deathloop, Far Cry 6, and Returnal. Mil, Dewey, Carrot.
See, this one was, especially the comment for it, the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. You could have just focused on combat, and that's it, you know. I mean, they have a lot of those, like the fighter game styles are kind of like that, where they just focus on the aspect of just fighting, of just reactions, combos, and everything. I look at combat as like the whole broad span of combat, you know, so like everything that involves with it, techniques, tactics, tricks you can do, you know, abilities, or, you know, like stuff that really helps you in combat and getting through like large amounts of enemies. So for me, it was between Back for Blood and Chivalry 2. But I feel like Back for Blood is the one that'll take this one. And the reason I'm saying is because Chivalry 2 just kind of reminds me of a bit too much of For Honor in a way. Like, you're just going in with swords, capabilities, just the basic swords, halberds, you know, medieval weapons, which is all good and all. But that's pretty much just about it. Is like, you're just kind of, it's kind of like a hack and slash, it feels like. with Back for Blood, yes, you've got the standard weapons, guns versus zombies and all, but you have to use the trick tactics with, different types of shells. There's armor piercing, flame based,
And then that's the card
elements.
system.
Yeah, it's got ability buffs and all to where you can help you in combat. You've got the armors that you get. You've got all the environment stuff that you can react with. I'm pretty sure they've got that in Chivalry 2 with some environmental aspects of like dropping exploding barrels or whatnot because they got the trebuchets and all. But it's a very close between the two of them. I'll definitely say this, but I just feel like Back for Blood is the one that'll take this one.
I played Chivalry 2, and I own Chivalry 2, and I technically own Back for Blood right now since it's on Game Pass. Played them both, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think either one of them is going to come close to the first. I think
Really?
I really don't think so. I think if out of the two, I would actually say Chivalry 2 would be more over Back for Blood. Because Back for Blood, like, it's a fun. The thing about Back for Blood, and kind of the only thing that has it going for it, is that's fun to play with your friends. That's literally it. Outside of that, there's nothing really too drastic or anything crazily different. You're playing Left 4 Dead, but in a different game format. That's all it really is. So I wouldn't say like for me, I'm the type of person that this is probably one of the few games that was on Game Pass, and I'm glad I didn't buy it because it is one of those games where I would, if I spent full price on it, I would have been upset. I wouldn't spend more than $20 on Back for Blood. Chivalry 2, that one is more that one's more of like, if you guys remember the Total War games or
yeah, I know Total War.
It's like that, but you're controlling one person, and so it's not exactly like it's real time, so it's not like hacking and slashing. You have to time it, your attacks, and it's more strategic, as if you were like it's almost like a simulation.
Well, that's why I said For Honor is what it feels like, because For Honor kind of has that aspect in a way towards like it's real time. And if the harder difficulty you play in For Honor means like you don't get the indicator saying it's up or down or left. It's just you have to know where you're going and how you're hitting on them versus how they're countering you and all that. So it feels like that mode, just like the advanced mode of it, towards like you don't know what they're going to do, so you have to like use your head a lot. So
I have in that Chivalry 2 will be closer to the For Honor thing, but it definitely, if you guys ever pick it up, let me know. It has crossplay, and we could definitely link up together, because that's another game that's like, I can see the excitement in it, I can see the joy in it and the fun in it, and it's hilarious too as well. But it would have to be like a game that I would be invested to play with my friends, because every single match is PvP. With that being said, like, I do think that those two, as fun of games as they are with friends, I think that they will be on the back burner. I think that the community is going to choose, or when I say community, I'm really talking about the developers that's voting on this game for real. I think they're going to choose Deathloop. I personally would choose it to be Returnal, but I think Deathloop's going to be the one that comes out with the dub.
Because of the rewind capabilities and all, the trick shots you can do.
Well, even so, it says best game in action genre focused primarily on combat. So it's not like, when they say focus primarily on combat, like, I'm immediately, my mind goes to like, all right, well, why not a fighting game? But the reason why is because it's not a fighting game. It is literally interactive. So like, you're moving, you are rewinding, you are engaging, you're breaking necks, you're doing all this different special abilities and everything like that. There's a lot of action that happens in Deathloop. And I would say in between the two, I think Deathloop and Returnal will be 1 or 2. I don't think there's going to be. I think Far Cry 6 has a possibility of winning, but I don't think it's going to outbeat Deathloop or Returnal. I personally think it's going to be. I want it to be Returnal, but I think it's going to be Deathloop.
Interesting.
Yeah.
9-ball.
I'm selfish. I'm going with Returnal.
All right.
I kind of figured.
Yeah. Returnal has very heavily based combat and action-based combat. I mean, the whole thing is about avoiding shots while getting your shots off. If you get hit, you have like what is known as an adrenaline meter. The more attacks you can get off without taking hits, the higher it goes and the stronger your abilities get. When you take a hit, it resets. You can choose when you die, even though it's roguelike, you may run into yourself where you died at a spot, and you can choose to either, I want to say, you can choose to avenge yourself, which you will have to fight the creature that killed you, and fight the things that killed you are a specialized creature. Even though it's a roguelike game, I think it's going to win, but you are right, though. The only one I was thinking of was Deathloop, but I wanted to be selfish on this one. I'm going to stick with Returnal because I love Returnal. It's very fun to play. It's fun. It has a storyline, which is going to take a little bit to flesh out. It's about action, dying, and trying again, taking chances. It has a bit of RPG in there to where you can pick up malignant parasites and they give you buffs, but they can also give you a debuff when you attach those things to you. And like a roguelike, everything's different every time. It's procedurally generated. So we can go into one time, it'll be totally different than the next time, but you make a little bit of progress as you go.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Eternal for me.
All right. And then next Tuesday, we're going to spend more time on the last remaining 15 categories. May not go through all of them because some of them are categories that we just flat out don't care about, but we shall see. I do want to give you guys a little update as what's going on right now. We're our Fantasy Gaming League, and it looks like we are on the victory lap right now for Mildewy Carrot. We have stuff on a 100-point scale on Metacritic / OpenCritic. And anything that scores above 70 gains you points. Anything that scores below 70 loses you points. Anything right at 70 you neither gain nor lose. And then we also have a thing in here called counter picks, to where if you can choose one game from one of your opponents, and it's like any one of our opponents, but there's 6 opponents in here right now. But you choose one game that's on their list. If it does not come out, you kind of screwed them over because they can't drop it to pick up new games. If it does come out and does poorly, they lose the points, you gain the points. Vice versa. If it does come out and does great, you lose the points and they lose. And
like what's about to happen to Ohio.
Yeah. So, so on here, we have me representing ALWT Gaming with Deathloop at 18 points. Halo Infinite pending at 87 points. Final Fantasy 16 pending. Far Cry 6,
okay, sure.
7 points.
Really?
Solar Ash pending. Call of Duty Vanguard 2 points. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba: The Hinokami Chronicles 0 points. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy 12 points. So right now I am sitting at 38 points, but pending.
What happened to Call of Duty? It's going down.
I don't know. Zaka TV, represented by It's the 9-Ball, has Resident Evil Village 14 points. Returnal 16 points. The Medium 5 points. Oddworld Soulstorm 0 points. Guilty Gear Strive 16 points. Mario Golf Super Rush 1 point. Life is Strange True Colors 12 points. Forza Horizon 5 24 points. And he has a counter pick of Breath of the Wild 2, which is not coming out. My counter pick was God of War Ragnarok, which is also not coming out.
And I regret nothing.
Carrot Patch Inc. right now has 110 points in first place. He has Monster Hunter Rise 18 points. Kenna Bridge of Spirits 11 points. Shin Megami Tensei 5 16 points. Psychonauts 2 19 points. 12 Minutes 5 points. It Takes 2 19 points. Diablo 2 Resurrected 10 points. Age of Empires 4 13 points. He has a counter pick of Five Nights at Freddy's. Fantasy Football, which is our boy Silent, has Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 not coming out. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart 18 points. New Pokemon Snap 10 points. Axiom Verge 2 8 points. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl 5 points. Battlefield 2042 negative 4 points.
Oh.
Scarlet Nexus 10 points. Metroid Dread 17 points. And he has a counter pick of Bat for Blood, which got Ohio 6 points. So he lost 6 points from that counter pick. We have
10 points.
Illis Be Live has Bravely Default 2, 8 points. Near Replicant version 1.22, 4744, 87139, 13 points. Little Nightmares 2, 13 points. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach pending. The Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes 3 points. Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin 11 points. Tales of Arise 17 points. Neo The World Ends With You 12 points. He has a counter pick of Final Fantasy 16. And lastly, but not leastly, as of right now, is God of War Ragnarok not coming out. Back for Blood, this is Ohio, by the way, 6 points. Humankind, 10 points. Evil Genius 2, World Domination, 7 points. Dungeons and Dragons, Dark Alliance, negative 11 points. Biomutant, negative 3 points. He's given up on this league because he has 2 open spots and no games selected. And he's about to run out of games to select because December is almost here. And he has Halo Infinite as his counter pick. So those 10 measly points that's sitting there, it's going to put him at negative 7. So.
Yeah.
I just want this year to be over so we can stop picking on Ohio. That's what I want. You know what I mean? I feel bad for the guy.
I don't really talk about it no more.
But what we are going to talk about,
just letting it run its course.
What we are going to talk about is topic number 2: games to end, big games to end the year. Darren Bontheus from GameSpot says December is usually a quiet month for gaming, bearing exceptions like last year launch of Cyberpunk 2077, and this year is mostly business as usual. Mostly. Microsoft's launch of Halo Infinite on December 8th is easily the most high-profile release of the year, and after years of development, Master Chief's next adventure is already carrying on ton of expectations on its
Mjolnir.
Okay. Mjolnir armor-clad shoulders.
Thank you,
pausing real fast. That's not how you spell Mjolnir from Thor's hammer, is it?
Let's see here.
I'm like genuinely curious about that right now.
Yeah, Templin Institute. Thank you. I think it was Template.
Might be. Let's see here.
As he's looking that up, we're going to continue with the services. Halo Infinite will also be going up against Final Fantasy 16's Endwalker expansion, which was slightly delayed from its original November launch date, as well as several other smaller titles. End quote, end story. But there's a part 2 of this, where Daniel
before you go to part 2, it is how you spell Thor's hammer.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mjolnir.
I don't think I ever knew that.
Yeah. Template Institute.
Daniel Tack from Game Informer quotes of this talking about Final Fantasy XIV, and Walker, the upcoming expansion for Final Fantasy XIV, is almost here. In fact, players with early access packages can begin playing the expansion as soon as Friday, December 3rd, which I'm actually one of them, but I'm not to that point of the story yet. Of course, as with any MMORPG launch and many other online games, the first few days are likely to be dicey affairs when it comes to server queues, login woes, and other various assorted issues as players all attempt to log in at the same time and play. We saw this happen earlier this year with New World, and seeing it occur in some capacity of Endwalker launch would not be unusual, given the hype for this big expansion that features several new jobs and ton of new content to explore. This is a Final Fantasy XIV tweet on Twitter. It says, we would like to share some information regarding the congestion that may occur during the early access period and release of #Endwalker. To that end, Square Enix has released a post documenting some of the various issues players may encounter as the floodgates open. The list includes the most important issue, worlds reaching maximum capacity, resulting in lengthy wait times to log on. Other things can happen too, like character creation being disabled. Players who remain inactive in game for too long will also be booted in order to make room. For MMORPG veterans, nothing here should be surprising. If you're taking first steps into Final Fantasy XIV, it might be best to do what you can to prepare. And one thing that I cut out there was them saying that to prepare, you might want to create your character now. If you have the base game of Shadowbringer and earlier, if you have that game, you might want to start creating your character now versus waiting until the weekend.
Yeah, don't wait till the weekend and try to do it.
So any thoughts about... Go ahead.
I was say at least they're giving people a heads up notice about it,
and that's why we put up for the community group.
Yeah, I'm like, this is like pro bono, like, you know, pre-advertisement vote for us shit here for the VGA awards, guys. Like, no, seriously, like I'm happy that they're giving that announcement saying, guys, you know, we understand that, you know, this is a new launch and all, but understand it's a new launch, and y'all are excited for it, and y'all ain't gonna be the only ones trying to get on day one, so. I'm really happy for that. I'm glad they've also got more than freaking 2,000, you know, slots available for a freaking server world, you know. But
sure.
you know, New world. But no, I'm very excited that they definitely were giving tips and tricks and stuff, like just heads up notices to everyone saying, hey guys, especially for those who aren't veteran players, get in soon, or get ready to wait, but just know that it's coming, So I applaud them for making that announcement, saying, we appreciate all of you who want to be here on day one launch and play the game day one launch, but know that you're gonna have to fight for that spot.
One thing I will say too as well, just a small little caveat here. You already know I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 for a while now, on and off, but this is probably the most on I've been in a while. Whenever I play the game, I do tend to forget that it is an online game. The story is so good that I literally sometimes forget that I'm playing an MMORPG. Like, I feel like I'm just playing a normal RPG, like a Final Fantasy game in general. But then it's just like, wait, I can do this dungeon with my buddies. Why am I trying to do this by myself? So, I like that. I like that. It's a very realized world and everything like that. But yeah, but this right here. So I don't know exactly how much Final Fantasy I'll be playing this weekend, just because I know it's going to be long queues, just like they said, and everything like that. I do want to get my hands in there because I do want to try to get through Stormblood so I can get to Shadowbringer, and then get through Shadowbringer so I can get to Endwalker now that I've had it purchased and everything. So I would like to do that, but I know that's going to take some time.
You're gonna have to start it up at like 3 a.m. in the morning just to get into that queue simulator.
I don't know if I'll be able. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to. I don't think that's going to change anything because you have Japan that's going to be up during that time period.
No, I'm just saying you just get in line just so when Japan goes to bed, then the U.S. wakes up, you'd be like, I'm first.
Yeah. Any comments?
Like, you're playing Endwalker? No, I'm playing Shadow. It's like, get off my server.
I am not looking forward to. I'm hoping I've actually never had to be kicked from Final Fantasy 14, but I'm hoping that that's not what's going to happen this weekend.
They said it was only if you went idle.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, they do that inside normal MMORPGs anyway. Like, I've been kicked from DC Universe and stuff like that before.
I just don't know if because of the weekend.
Yeah.
Because it's a day launch.
They've actually did this recently before. When Asmongoth transferred over.
Yeah.
They had a huge influx of people that followed him, his followers and all that. And so for a little bit, they had longer queue time. So what they was doing is, if you was inactive for so long, they would kick you off and let group for somebody else.
So it sounds like they may be dealing where it's like
they're pretty good about dealing with stuff like that. I don't think it's gonna be too bad of an issue.
Well, also they expect this to happen. They didn't expect it for Asmongoth to come over the way that they, with all the people.
No, they did.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
But you see how they handled it.
Yeah.
So, what I was gonna say though is, like, I think what it sounds like is that they have like a normal like inactive queue timer, but they may be adjusting it for the launch date just because they are expecting that bigger time frame. So they are going to adjust it down, saying, all right, instead of like, I don't know, 10 minutes of inactivity, if you go inactive for like 5 or less, then they'll kick you, because they're like, all right, sorry, we gotta get people in here who want to play the game, bro.
Yeah. And that's
get back in line, try it again.
Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. I do think that's going to be something like that. They're like, hey, we want to make sure everyone has a good experience with this. If you're inactive for longer than 3 minutes, you're at risk of getting booted. Which is that's perfectly fine. And like I know you don't play a whole lot of MMORPGs there, Mildewy, but 9ball, this is nothing new. Like, this is business as usual. So.
When I played WoW and stuff on launch days like this, you would get like whole communities troll. Yeah. Everybody just shows up. It's like I said, it's not. I don't think they usually do a very good job about keeping that stuff from turning too bad. The only thing I'm more worried about, which I didn't bring up earlier, is the new class. The Sage. I was watching him on. I forgot what
there's
channel.
2 new classes.
Yeah, there's the Reaper-like class and there's the Sage.
Did you say Reaper?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a Grim Reaper.
Sickle, a sickle and everything.
I thought you said Reefer, and I'm like, what's a Reefer? I'm like, is that like an underwater class? It's like a druid, underwater druid or something?
No, it's a Thanatos class.
Freaking Nineballs over there. Like,
Colorado
it's a druggie. It's a subclass of a druid that's a druggie. It's like
The sage looks cool though because they have a lot of beam abilities that's like Bahamut, and I like that.
The only thing about it is you will heal through dealing damage.
Exactly.
Which I've seen on WoW before, if not done properly, they turn into raid bosses, and they basically can become like the top meta pick, which will become a problem because why would you take anybody else when you can take a sage?
Mm-hmm.
So you think they're going to become like lifesteal?
No. What one of the abilities is you put this buff onto one of your people in your raid or dungeon quest. 10-1 is going to be your tank. Whenever he deals damage, the tanks heal for a percentage of that damage dealt. And they seem to have a pretty high, respectable amount of damage. The only problem is when we had problems with the Disc Priest for a while and Paladins, Holy Paladins for a little bit, it's because they was topping both damage and healing charts. When you ran I forgot what it was called, like Recount, or I forgot the other one they had for it. But when you would run those, it would show like who's dealing the most damage, who was doing the most healing. We have one class that can do both. You basically don't need the other healers. They basically get kicked to the curb side. Which is the only thing I'm kind of worried about with that one. If they do it seems they're doing it right. Because if you played a Disc Priest right, you could put the buff on your entire party, on an entire 24-man raid, and be healing that way. Because that's how you're supposed to heal. You don't heal with your normal abilities because you eat too much mana. And Shadow Mend, it heals for a lot, but it puts a dot on that person that it heals, and they get dealt damage equal to half the amount you healed them for over time. So you don't want to use Shadow Men to heal people. You basically want to shield them, and the shield applies the dot, applies the buff to them, and then you just heal that way. That's the only thing I'm worried about, but overall, I think Square Enix will be good about addressing it and not letting it go as long, because it was a huge problem, especially in PvP, because it was basically like running 3 damage dealers. It's just the 3rd damage dealer was healing. And they had to take... Now, I've watched like a couple arenas, and they nerfed Disc Priest so much that they basically don't really have a mana bar because they have virtually no regen. So when they run out of mana, it's just over. So basically, you're on a timer. That's how they dealt with them. But I think they're going to do pretty good on it. I'm pretty excited for it. I've watched, like I told you before, I watched the entire thing on that. A couple of videos about that Final Fantasy 14. They do really good about taking responsibility and correcting actions. When the system, like a long time ago, and I can't emphasize enough how good it was, when they fell apart, the guy personally took responsibility. He didn't hand it off to this person. He didn't say investors. He said, I'm sorry, I messed up. Let me fix this. And even when the other guy felt like he wasn't doing good enough, he stepped down. He said, I'm letting them down. I'm in their way. I stepped down. I let this guy deal with this. It's a lot to 14, which is so good of a game. I need to reserve it myself. I haven't did it yet. I kind of forgot because I've been doing so much Black Friday shopping and checking to see what's on sale, and I forgot that Endwalker's coming out here shortly. I was playing a bit of 14 today. I'm probably going to play a bit more when I get off because I want to get through more of the story so I can get up there. And I want to unlock the Sage and probably go at it immediately because I do play healer, so I'm excited.
Dude, I'm literally just kind of bored. Now, here's the thing. There's a couple comments I do want to make about this because one is Final Fantasy adjacent, and then one is talking about this particular story. I am not concerned, but I'm curious of how the design of these dungeons and raids, which are also known as alliances, I'm very curious of how these dungeons and alliances are going to be specifically for Endwalker. Like, are they going to make it more difficult to where it makes sense to have a sage in there as well as another healer, so that way, even though they're doing X amount of healing and stuff, you still need to have this extra support of healing because of the design of the dungeon and the bosses and stuff.
Well, the thing about it is, when you remember we watched that video that one night about Final Fantasy 14?
Yeah.
It's separating the two healers. So you're going to have mainly shielding healers. Like I play a Scholar. Scholars are going to they're supposed to turn more towards putting up shields, like preemptive healers. So we're supposed to be getting shields on people, not so much healing the damage, but stopping the damage from coming in.
Yeah.
Whereas, white mages and astrologians are supposed to be turning into your basic reactive healers. So a reactive healer is basically you take the damage and then they use the tool to get you back up to full.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm saying, is that in addition to that, I'm wondering if the design of the dungeons has any reason for that decision as well.
It might, but it might not be exactly the best one. I mean, on WoW, the reason why it became a problem is because a lot of the later bosses had parts of huge damage checks, which basically means you need this much damage to get that bubble down before it basically wipes your entire raid.
Mm-hmm.
And in that retrospect, you needed somebody that can deal damage, because most time healers have to choose. If I'm dealing damage, I'm not healing. If I'm healing, I'm not dealing damage.
Exactly. Yeah.
And to have both at your disposal
as a sage.
I'm excited, curious, and I want to. Hopefully, I don't think it's gonna be broken. And if it is, I feel like they're gonna be able to address it. But I think overall, it's gonna be a great addition, and I'm glad that they are experimenting.
The first thing I want to do the minute you get your sage is I want to go back and I want to fight Ramu on Extreme and tear that mofo up, because
I want to do Shiva on. I want to do Shiva on Extreme.
I have Shiva on the stream, and I'm ready to go with you, man. I'm ready to go with you.
I've tried that. I tried that with a raid for about an hour, and we had like the third phase, and it was so hard. She kept freezing the ground, and you had to wipe out the 4 guys, and you had to stay behind her on certain parts because she could just one-shot you. The mechanics were really tough on there.
Yeah. I just want to take out. I want to clear up my log, because right now all my log is one main scenario and the rest are extreme dungeons. And I just want to get through that list, and I do want to get Ramu off of that list. I want to get Shiva off the list, so I can just feel good that I've done it. The Final Fantasy adjacent is a little pinpoint that I wanted to bring out, was that Final Fantasy VII First Soldier on mobile is actually really good. It's actually really fun. They put a lot of care into it. You could tell. There's some I playing it. The more I'm playing it, the more I'm like, man, I wish this was on console. Like I really do.
Yeah, I heard Abs and Gravity was telling us about that yesterday.
Yeah, it's a really fun game. Like, I'm not a mobile playing guy at all. Like, I have a couple games on my phone, so that way I can just play it whenever I'm like bored or traveling or something. This one I'm playing in my house. Like, I'm actually playing it pretty consistent, like regularly, and it's really fun. And it's in like all the classes extremely balanced. It's not like how it is on like Smite or even Hunter's Arena, even though I don't think Hunter's Arena is necessarily broken, but even for Hunter's Arena, Apex Legend, to where you have a tank, but you have also different types of tanks. If you're a monk, you're a monk. Like, everyone's the same type of monk. If you're a soldier, you're a soldier. Like, it's more of just the aesthetics of it. Like, they all have different abilities. So if you're a soldier, then you have a different ability than a sorcerer, but all the soldiers on the field all have the same abilities. But then you can also pick up materia, though, which is equivalent, so that way you can get
I know about materia.
Yeah, so you can get Bio and Faraga and Fira and all that stuff. Like, and then you can choose to have your own personal chocobo, or you can ride a vehicle. You can ride up the side of the building. You can have a sniper rifle. You can have a ninja. You can fight the ads that's out there. You can fight them, and some of them are actually really tough. But if you beat them, they drop some legendary weapons sometimes, and it's really cool what they did. They like took Hunter's Arena and Fortnite and mix it inside this Final Fantasy VII world, and it's actually a lot of fun. Just the last time me and Gravity have played together on my lunch break, we actually got second place, and that was yesterday. I was just like,
it's because you got 10-year-olds on there.
Yeah, dude, it was just a lot of fun, and we had a good time with it.
No, just play Fortnite for 10-year-olds. Trust me.
But But Mildew, do you have any more commentary as far as the Final Fantasy 14 expansion before we move on over to topic number 3?
No, I just hope for a good launch and for everyone to have fun.
Oh, I will.
I will too.
So you're not playing
definitely.
Phasmophobia anymore after this, is what you're saying.
No, I'm gonna be back on Phasmophobia. Trust me.
Yeah, there's this as epic of a launch that Endwalker will be. It's going to be too massive of a world and too massive of a story just to put everything to the side. It's going to be one of those games that you're playing this and then no one else is playing it. All right, cool. Let me go to Endwalker. It's going to be that type of game.
And I don't play a game that really. I mean, you got to be careful on those because you don't want to burn completely out on them.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the whole. Again, it's a realized world. It's an MMORPG, so you're literally living in that world for X amount of time, and you get tired, so you want to go on to Smite. You get tired, you want to go to FIFA. Tired, go to Phasmophobia. For you guys, not for me. Number 3.
Join us.
That's not number 3. Number 3 is Dying to Play. Do you see what I did there?
Phasmophobia.
Autocratic from GameSpot says, following 2 delays, one that was indefinite and another that was pushed the game's release date back by 2 months, Dying Light 2 has finally gone gold well before its release. The game likely won't see its release date pushed forward, though, like Shifu's was recently, by the way. Yeah, a little tidbit in there. Shifu was pushed forward. It was pushed back, and it was pushed forward on the latest PlayStation update, which I was not expecting. I like that. With lead game designer Timon Smektala. Yeah, Timon Smektala saying that the team, he said don't, will not slow down. The fact that the game is done and we hit the gold status 2 months before the release is a great sign, but it doesn't mean that our work ends here. And quote, said Smektala. Quote, there still is some upgrades and tweaks to add and the community feedback to implement, but the base is solid and ready to play, end quote, and story. It's the 9-ball, Mildewy Carrot. Does this do anything for you guys?
I've never played Dying Light.
You haven't played the first one?
No, I got it.
You just haven't
I
played
like
it?
everything.
Okay.
It's backlog, logged.
Logged and logged.
It's somewhere.
What about you there, Mildewy?
My only concern is that they went gold before release. We've heard that phrase before, haven't we, folks?
We did, but they went gold only like a couple weeks before the release. This is 2 months, so this is a little bit more promising, and the hype is not as high.
It's still a bit of a worrying phrase, but
They go gold?
just them going gold before the release. It's just I'm getting PTSD flashbacks to Cyberpunk. That's all I'm saying. I know they still got time. I just think like just because they've got time before the launch, I feel like it's just they've called it a bit too early. To me, it just feels like that they may have called it a bit too early. But if they've really got themselves down and they feel that confident to call it that early, then power to them. You know, obviously, definitely power to them. I'm glad that they were able to get to that point. I'm just more or less waiting to see when it comes out and like just to see how the reactions are at launch per se. So that's when I'll really kind of give my true review for it. But like I said, just that phrase is just PTSD of Cyberpunk. It's like, ooh. So,
I started thinking of
that's about it.
Battlefield.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. I mean, it is a fun game. Like I played again. I played a good portion of it from when we had the trial. It is a fun game, but it doesn't feel too different from the other Battlefields. Like it's big, massive not open world, but big, massive maps, big team battles. It's one of those games again that's just really fun to play with your friends.
Somebody was saying they don't even have destructible environments. You know?
I don't recall. Actually, now that you're mentioning it, because I was just on top of a roof sniping people, so I don't.
Wait, are you saying the tornado's not enough to sell it?
The tornado was really fun, actually. The tornado is fun. Like the storms that's in the game is actually really fun, but
on that, no.
No. I mean, it's nothing too crazy. It is a game again. Like if I have friends to play with, then yeah, I'd go ahead and jump on that easy. No problem. But as far as being like, hey, let's go ahead and get this game for $60 and just jump inside this world by myself or even with one other person, it's not exactly the game for that. Wait for it to go on sale, in my opinion.
I'm gonna give you a quote from somebody that got the game for $70. I was an idiot.
I thought you were gonna say, don't.
No, it was like, yeah, I reserved it. I was stupid. I get them every year. I feel like a complete idiot this year.
Yeah, it was just one of those games where it's just like they just didn't do. They weren't too different with Halo. That's out.
It wasn't even that. He was saying hit detection and a bunch of stuff was off. It was laggy and all kinds of stuff.
That hit detection, I only experienced that one time. Laggy did not experience at all. I did not have any issue with that. That just tells me that hey, you probably had a bad internet connection.
No.
There's other things. There's other things that's wrong with the game. Don't get me wrong. It's not off the hook, but it's not. It's definitely not like this is somebody that was. You're talking with someone that was able to play it for hours, and I'm still not like
you'll never get them back.
Yeah, I'm still not like go ahead and grab this game. I'm not to that point, but with it being again Halo Infinite being completely free with. You have Call of Duty Warzone that's still thriving. You have Fortnite that's free. Like in a world to where I was just saying, in a world to where you do have that space that it would have been in, like that traditional. You queue into a match and you do a big team deathmatch or you do conquest or whatever. That era is kind of over. It's for you to be charging for it. That's kind of where it's at. Because again, if Halo Infinite right now is free multiplayer, and that strategy is still like you have Team Slayer, you have Capture the Flag, you have Oddball, you still have all these other modes. So it's just like, so why is Battlefield charging for this? And it's because it's EA, we know. But it's just like, why is Battlefield charging for this when Halo on the opposite side of the spectrum is free completely? And yeah, so but as far as being afraid of hearing a game go gold, don't be afraid of that because every game goes gold at one point. On here, story number 4, from DC to Marvel, George Young from
Wait, we're doing crossovers finally?
Pretty much.
Oh, we had those before.
Crossover for developers because George Young from GameSpot says the studio behind DC Universe Online Dimensional Ink Games is in early development for a new Marvel-based MMO. Eurogamer noticed the game in its Q3 2021 investor briefing for a co-op company, Enad Global 7, with Dimensional Ink noted as the developer. Emmert is currently the CEO of Dimensional Ink Games and is responsible for the studio P&L. His LinkedIn profile also mentioned, quote, new unannounced MMORPG, end quote, under his job responsibilities, which we now know is based in the Marvel Universe. Dimensional Ink is also celebrating DC Universe Online 10-year anniversary. On the same aforementioned slide, the studio bills DC Universe Online as the, quote, one and only superhero-based MMO, end quote, that is performing near its peak historical annual revenues, end quote, in story. So, the creators of DC Universe Online making a Marvel online game, MMORPG, in the works. I know that I said it in inside the article, which I didn't include here, but I know it's slated for 2023 to have an announcement. I'm excited about this. I know we talked a little bit off stream about this. I was one of the people that like PS3 into PS4. I was mainly PS3 actually when I'm thinking about it. It was really mainly PS3. But PS3 into PS4, I was just really, really like all about. I was playing DC Universe when you had to pay $50 a month. Like it was a lot of fun. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, one of those kids.
Yeah, I was. I remember that when the PlayStation 3 had its little issue or whatever, like the online network issue, I was able to play it, and I played like 3 or 4 months for free. And I was like, I'm not hating this. I don't understand what's happening here. This is before I dove inside video game news, obviously. But I was just like, if it's free, it's for me. I'm all for it. And yeah, Had a really good time with it. I think the tier that I stopped at for DC Universe, because I got 2 characters to level 30, which was the max level you can be at. And then I got my first tier 1 armor, which you can get by doing the end game content, like the raids at the end. You can get certain things, so you could go to the shop and buy that tier armor. So I did that. I got tier 2, and I think I was fully decked out in tier 2, and I was working on tier 3s when I stopped. Technically now, if I went back to DC Universe, Amidamaru, which was my ice tank, and it was so cool because once you iced up a certain amount of times, you turn to a big ice golem. Awesome. It was absolutely awesome. But anyway,
I had a Batman character, if I'm not mistaken, because I had a bunch of gadgets.
Yeah, that's Batman. That's Batman. Yeah, there's that. But also what was cool about it is that, like, not only kind of turns into a big golem, but also, like, if I did X amount of ice abilities, I can also have it to where I didn't turn to the big golem, but I just had ice spike armor on myself, and it would increase my defense and my attack. Dude, it was so cool. It was so fun. It was so cool. Again, my guy's name was Amidamaru. He looked like Spawn, but he had a Super Saiyan Goku hair, but he ran like the Flash. It was awesome. It was so much fun. But that game was yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. No hate. Just accept it. Accept it. It was a lot of fun.
Ice Goku flash.
But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and
you could tell he made that when he was a kid because it mixed all of his favorite stuff together.
It
was awesome. It was awesome. It was a good time. I enjoyed it, and the thing that dampened it for me was that, again, that the level cap was 30. If I went back to it now, technically I think my level is 70 because of the items that I have equipped to my person. But if I looked at, like, it would just say 70, but then if I looked underneath it would still say 30 because the actual player himself is only at the level 30. I don't like stuff like that. Like, I wish that if there's going to be level 90 monsters, then I want my guy itself to be level at least 80. So that way I can, I don't know, I just like to have that sense of gaining experience so I can get to the next level versus me just being stuck at level 30 for the next 5 years. That was something that was like, I don't know, that's the part that wasn't really all that fun to me. But other than that, yeah, no, DC Universe was a great time. And I wouldn't even mind trying to go back to it and just have that, like, nostalgic moment. But I know that it's a dated game. I know I wouldn't be as invested as I was before. And on top of that, now with me playing Final Fantasy 14 and that, I just don't think I'll be able to actually invest that time inside the DC Universe portion when I have Final Fantasy 14 right here looking beautiful and everything.
Or the Marvel one, to be honest with that.
That one does have my interest a little bit, but I want to see how they do it. I want to see how the combat is, because the combat in DC Universe was fantastic, especially on that time period for an MMORPG. That was kind of unheard of. Like, you had, I think the only one that was like kind of close to it was Terra. That's the only one I can think of, because Terra's combat is fun. It is really fun. It's a live action, and you have your abilities, and you still have global cooldowns and stuff like that. They still have GCDs, but the actual melee portion of it was the part that was like, okay, I'm playing a fighting game, but in an open world, but with my friends. Like, it was cool, and that's what DC Universe is. And also, it's cool that you can be in a PvP world to where you're just running, minding your own business, and a random villain just comes up and starts trying to start stuff with you. But that feeling of when you start getting attacked by a gang of villains, and your boys come in, and they're like, no, fam, get off him. Get off Mildew and Carrot. He harvests our crops. Get off him. Like, all of that was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Time we went somewhere and we saw like a shadow on a rooftop and we clicked on it and we got killed by the League of Assassins just right away, because it was like end game shit, and we're like noobs, just like, hey, let's click on this, just dead. Well, like, they just like jumped into the area and we just died. That was it. It was just like, what the.
Yeah, and to be fair, because at that time when we did that, because I wouldn't classify myself as a noob, but I am a noob to this new stuff that's been happening since I last played on PS3. So when we did that, all these updates had happened. Like, it's been years at that point since I played it. Even before I even met you, Mildewy. Like, it's been years at that point since I played it. And Yeah, definitely a good time, and I'm very curious to see what the company is going to do with the Marvel game with today's technology and with some of the stuff that they have learned from DC Universe Online. Any additional commentary? Floor's open.
You
Just
said it all for me.
yeah, just a bit of a skeptic, I guess. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm just gonna hold out and see. I mean, DC. I played a bit of DC Universe. Like I said, I had a character. I believe he could fly and had like a bunch of gadgets on him.
Yeah, depending on what, because you could choose flight, acrobatics, or speed, super speed. I chose super speed.
I chose flight because he had like rock. I think rocket boots or something. They could fly, and I had like, but that was a controller. That's right.
I think I tried both with 2 different characters. So I mean, it just depends upon what you want to do. Like, do you want to be able just to run up buildings, run around, and be speedy, jumps and all, or do you want to just fly around and that's it, So it just depends upon the person. To each their own. But I tried them both, and I didn't see.
It can.
Others.
The good news is it can do well. I mean, come to think of it, I mean, it's been a niche for those, but it goes back as far as City of Heroes, City of Villains, which were 2 great games. It's just they were too dated. And all their fans went over to DC Universe. Even on the games were not bad at all. And they ended up shutting down the servers. And then now you got that one, but that one's been there for a while now. And maybe it is time for another one. I'm gonna be a positive skeptic. Maybe they can strike gold a second time.
Gonna do that pacifist.
I will say one of the coolest things about the, and I'll get off this one because then we're gonna go to it's all legal, baby. But one of the coolest things about it is that if you had the super speed, you were able to run already fast. But then later on, you can upgrade to a super speed, and you'll be able to just absolutely book it and just go super fast. That was the coolest thing I could ever imagine. And also, one thing that I would like them to do in MMORPGs is if you have a group of friends, because they did this flawlessly in DC Universe. If you had a group of friends that you wanted to go into a raid or a dungeon with, but they're underleveled, as long as you had that dungeon available, if you walk through the portal, then the portal will open up for them, and then they can walk through. So you can actually go do certain instances and alerts with your buddies, but if they're underleveled, that's on you. Like, because it's just so much fun that when you're able to get through that dungeon with like maybe one person that's qualified, but the other 3 are underleveled, and you get to that final boss and you're able to cheese them and be able to get that experience and really take them out. That was so much fun when we did that against Gorilla Grodd with me and my buddies back in the day. Same thing for also, like, depending on who your mentor is and stuff, will determine different quest lines through that. So like if I chose Batman as my mentor and you chose Superman, the quests that he gives you for the quote-unquote main quest are not going to be the same that Batman gives me. So if we go to your quest line and you're going through one of that, you can actually go through that portal and I'll be able to go through that same portal with it. So I'm getting Superman's quest without having to start all the way over with a brand new character. I could just go ahead and go in with that same character that I created to be under Batman's wingship with, but I'm able to do Superman quests as long as my buddy has Superman as their mentor.
It's just the only thing about that is basically, I guess they don't want you power leveling, and 2, the AI. Most of them, from what I'm understanding, I don't know how aggro works on there, but I know this much on most of them. Aggro will also go off a player's level. If a player's under leveled, if they will attack, at least that's how Guild Wars did theirs. The more under leveled a character is, the more likely the enemies will go after you. And the second thing, if the lower your health is, the more they will attack you. They also prioritize healing, I believe, more than damage. On theirs. I don't know how they did theirs on their
DC Universe.
On DC Universe, I know WoW, I believe, did something similar. No, they prioritize damage, a lot of damage, because you would have to sometimes, if you was doing like big raids and stuff, if you had a guy that was like ramping up like a afflict warlock or something, you may have to ask them to tone it down a bit if your tanks maybe under geared or don't have enough of the threat level on them, because it will change over to the main target. Or if you're healing for too much, they will change.
Well, I know that there's toughness. You have to have your certain toughness up. They went off of there's an attribute, because in Final Fantasy 14 it's called enmity. Yeah, enmity. All that.
If you play, it's like your gear levels. If you played like Division or like Destiny 2, you got like the gear levels, and also they went off of that where you had like a gear level based on whatever armaments you equipped.
Yeah, WoW was an item level. It'll give you an eye level or something.
Yeah, so. I can't remember exactly. Whatever it was, it felt super balanced when you were doing the PvE portion of it. I don't know exactly how the PvP, because obviously there's no aggro in PvP, but I know that there were certain things in PvP that you had to make sure that you hit so that way you can survive and stuff. And I think that was one of the things on a PvP portion, is that PvP felt broken, but PvE was super balanced, and I've enjoyed being able to go inside those dungeons that I may not have been qualified for, or my buddies may not have been qualified for, but we were able to thrive together, and it might have been harder than it needed to be. But once you beat that, dude, that's the video game feeling right there. It felt so great. It felt so awesome. It was a lot of fun.
What's your death penalties if you die?
You just start at the beginning of the... I mean,
so
your gear will get damaged. So you do have to, it can break, and so you have to actually repair it and stuff like that. So, and that could actually
teleported
happen.
back to like a save spot zone, or where like you last spawned in zone.
Yeah,
which is like a police station, or wherever they consider their safe spots.
Yeah, if you're in a dungeon, it just takes you back to the front of the dungeon. But if you're out there in the world and you died, then it takes you to these spots that are guarded, or.
Yeah, kind of like if you died on Guild Wars, there was like these little diamond areas, like towns and stuff, of like little teleport cubes.
Yeah,
you can just pick one and just teleport there.
Exactly. Yeah, because Booster Gold actually puts some of them out there around the city, so you actually can teleport. If you're closer to one of those areas versus a police station, if you're on the hero side, you'll go there. If you were on the villain side, it'll be a club. So just really cool stuff like that. Number 5, it's all legal, baby. Joshua Duckworth from Game Rant. Thanks to the ongoing chip shortage and high demand of the latest generations of gaming tech and platforms, it's hard as ever to get hands on at least graphic cards, the PS5, or an Xbox Series X. Part of this year's number of scalpers and bots who buy up stock online to resell for double the price, if not more. Indeed, scalping has been a major problem for those looking to buy a new graphic card, PS5 or Xbox Series X for the holidays. Now, Democrats have introduced a new legislation designed to cut down, if not fully eliminate, the use of bots for resellers and scalpers. The U.S. Representative Paul Tonko of New York and Senators Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, Chuck Schumer of New York, and Ben Ray Lujan of New Mexico all announced they're pushing for the Stopping Grinch Bots Act. Tonko, Blumenthal, and Schumer are first introduced this legislation back in November 2019, as scalping has been around for quite a while, but it's arguably worse than this year than ever. It aims to, quote, crack down on cyber Grinches using bot technology, says all the lawmakers in the statement, with Schumer adding, the average holiday shopper is unable to compete with the light speed of all too common Grinch bot, then are all then held ransom by scalpers and third-party resellers trying to buy holiday presents. No parent or American should ever have to fork over hundreds or even thousands of dollars to buy Christmas and holiday gifts for their children and loved ones. End quote. End story.
End quote.
Yeah. So there you go, guys, ladies and gentlemen. The Stopping the Grinch Bots Act is trying to be pushed by these Democrats right here. I'm all about that, because it's just not. I mean, like we have our PS5s. We're not being affected by this. I know for some graphics cards, you guys might be. If you guys are trying to upgrade your graphics card, but ultimately,
don't even get me started on that.
Ultimately, it's just a scenario that just sucks all around because of people's greed. That's really what it comes down to. It's not even opportunists at this time. It's literally just people just being dicks. That's really what it is. So, there you go. Little update for you guys as far as that goes. You already know our thoughts about it. We think this is a good thing. We think that scalping should just stop. When in doubt, don't scalp it out. Just don't get them from scalpers. You know what I mean? Just leave them alone. Just wait. Follow the tricks and tips that I said before. Actually, I just recently one of my friends from high school had reached out to me asking me how I got like 6 PS5s this year and everything like that. Obviously, I slowed down. I haven't been trying to get any more recently because everyone that I know has one right now. But he followed the tips and tricks, and just a couple days ago, he got himself a PS5. Literally, like, I will give it to you guys free of charge. I don't want you guys to be succumbing to these scalpers and everything like that. So if you guys are interested in that, just shoot us an email at least you tried gaming at least you tried gaming@gmail.com. Or you guys can message us on social media platforms such as Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all of that good stuff. Just type in ALWT Gaming. Before we get on to Steel Deals, while I'm on this little tangent of promotions and stuff like that, make sure you guys are getting your Raise Energy drinks from repsports.com, reppsports.com. Type in ALWT Gaming at checkout, get 15% off. That is 15% sign off your Raise Energy drinks, your water, your workout powders, your water supplements, all of that. Just type in ALWT Gaming, 15% off. But make sure, lastly, if you guys are trying to save some money, Steel Deals right here, number 6. It's a two-parter here. One, Steve Petit and Darren Benithius from GameSpot says the best Plus deals, the best PlayStation Plus deals for Black Friday and Cyber Monday is available at most major retailers right now. PlayStation Plus normally costs $60 for a 12-month subscription, but right now you can get it for $40 at Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, and Target. If you purchase PlayStation Plus at any of these retailers, you'll get a digital code emailed to you that you can redeem on the PlayStation Store. Renata Price from Kotaku had also mentioned Jump Force, at a game that will summarily, I don't know why that's so hard to say right now. Executed by its publisher in just a few short months, is discounted to just $6 as part of the Steam's fall sale. So this may be our last chance to grab the Anime Arena Fighter before the game is delisted in February 7th, 2022 and sees its online services disabled in August next year. So if you guys are looking for that on Steam, you guys can get Jump Force for $6. It's a good game, and I would definitely recommend picking it up. And then you guys can also get PlayStation Plus for $40 as opposed to $60 for a year. And lastly, the future, which if you guys could ever so kindly go on over to your link there. These are games that are coming out in 2022 that I just wanted to throw out there as reminders with little new updates and all that good stuff. We're going to start with, and this is on Game Informer's site, by the way. We're going to start with January, which Madison is coming on PC, January 7th. Weird West, which is coming out on PS5, Xbox Series X/S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on January 11th. By the way, anytime it's Series X and S, I'm just going to say Xbox Series. Monster Hunter Rise coming to PC on January 12th. God of War 2018, which is coming to PC on January 14th. Rainbow Six Extraction coming to PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC January 20th.
Xbox Series, which one?
Both. Pokemon Legends Arceus coming to Switch.
And what's Stadia?
January 28th. In February, we have Life is Strange Remastered Collection on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC February 1st. The Waylanders on PC February 2nd. Dying Light 2 Stay Human, PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, PC February 4th. Sifu coming on February 8th now on PS5, PS4, and PC. No by Heart PC on February 10th. Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires, which is PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on February 15th. King of Fighters 15, PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, and PC, February 17th. Horizon Forbidden West on PS5, PS4, and that's it on February 18th. Destiny 2, The Witch King, or Witch Queen, PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Stadia, PC, and that's February 22nd.
There's
Monarch.
that weird word again. Stadia.
Monarch on PS5, PS4, Switch, PC, and that's February 22nd. Martha is Dead. Oh, that sucks. PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, PC at February 24th. Elden Ring to end out February is Elden Ring. PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, PC, and February 25th. March is Alex 2, PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, PC, March 1st. Also March 1st is Pathfinder Wrath of Righteous, which is PS4 and Xbox One. Gran Turismo 7, PS5, PS4, March 4th. Triangle Strategy, Switch, March 4th. Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, which is PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, PC, March 18th. I'm actually excited about that one. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, PC, March 25th. Going in April, we have 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, which is Switch, April 12th. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl.
Yeah, that's gonna eat this
and
so much.
Xbox Series and PC, April 28th. May, Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Xbox One, PS4, Switch, PC, May 19th. There we go.
Yeah, I'll play that series.
What?
Vampire Masquerade.
It's based off the book series a long time ago.
Last little tidbit in there. I know we're going to the middle of the year on this part, but Saints Row, I do want to put that out there. That's coming out August 23rd. It was pushed back from February, so they have more time to shine, if you know what I mean. PS5, Xbox Series S, X, PS4, Xbox One, PC, August 23rd.
Don't forget about Starfield.
Nope, we're not going that far. We haven't got to that part yet.
Starfield.
What's that?
So, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our ALWT Things Gaming episode 75. If you're on Anchor and Spotify, I believe it's 59. That feels right. 61. I think it's 61. Now I'm saying that. Let me take a look. Let me not lie to you guys. Going there right now. Episodes 61. Yep. So yeah. So Spotify, Anchor, episode 61. Everyone else, this is episode 75. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. This Thursday is going to be our Smite night, as we are raring to get that completed for the 2021. We still have to be listed on there for our 9 to 5 segment for December, because December starts tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. I will guarantee it's not going to be on the 25th for obvious reasons. So be on the lookout for the 4th, the 11th, or the 18th. Chances are it's not going to be the 4th because that's this weekend. But be on the lookout for that, and we'll go from there. Until next time, everybody. Control. Alt.
Complete.
Complete.
Peace, love, and hair grease.
Really?